Good evening, welcome back, Poetry Lovers. My name is ZM Wise. I am here today with none other than Shen. Shen has been writing since the age of 8, starting with a short story on safari animals in Africa fighting off poachers. Shen's literary skill is self-taught, and since he first started, he has yet to stop writing. He has written short stories, poetry, reflective prose, web fiction, journal articles, and blog entries. In addition, he has a deep interest in spaceflight and astronomy, which sometimes seeps into his creative works. Shen has self-published 2 poetry books on Amazon, Simple Words in 2015, and Requiem, The Space Between Words, on August 16, 2019. He is fluent in 2 languages, Chinese and English, and enjoys writing in either language, though he's admittedly more adept in English. When not being productive, he likes to spend his time daydreaming, watching people, going to art shows, playing video games, or reading. Shen, welcome. How are you doing today?
Wow, thank you for that excellent intro. It almost seems like you didn't read anything.
Feels like I wrote it myself.
I know, you know me so well.
So tell me about your early influences in writing and what possessed you to know that you had the gift within you.
Okay, it's funny that you call this a possession because that is actually what I felt like. I felt like I was grasped by something and I was compelled to do it. When did it first start? That, I don't know if I have an exact recollection date, but I do recall that I obsessively wrote journals, just like it just seemed like I had to. Initially, I did it to improve my English. I was also writing in Chinese, actually. But at a certain point, I just started writing it because I wanted to. And then while writing that, I came up with a lot of, just story ideas. So as you mentioned there, since you know me so well, about that African safari animals, I don't know if that's my first story, but that's one that comes to mind. And I wrote that whole thing in Chinese. So I was a lot better in Chinese, but regardless, I read a lot and I enjoyed writing. So
Wonderful. What are you currently reading at the moment?
Okay, that's a very good question. I'm afraid I have to be a little boring, or how should I put this? So that's not true. Nothing I read is boring. Let me take that back. Pause, right? Okay, this is injecting humor in here. It doesn't have to be entirely smooth. I am not a very linear reader in the sense that I tend to jump between books. I'm reading multiple things at once, and sometimes I never finish what I start, admittedly. So currently, I'm reading, I was reading this book that I borrowed from a friend of mine. I don't know if I can find it. It's about animals, like fairy tales, sort of about animals, except they're very dark. Like the animals die. They're like representative of humans. Let me see if I can actually find it. So that's one thing I'm reading while I'm searching for this. So another one that I'm reading is on the nerdier side. I'm reading a book about the moon. So I checked it out from the library, and it's literally the whole history of our exploration of the moon and our understanding of it. So I forget who that is by, but it just came out like 3 years ago or something.
What's been the highlight of that one so far?
The highlight of that one is looking at all these new ventures that's going to the moon. I mean, let's see. It's been like over 50 years. We celebrated the 50-year whatever anniversary of the last person on the moon, right? Actually, not the last person, the first person on the moon. but yeah. Thank you for correcting me. But really, technology has progressed in many different ways. But why have no one gone back? So this book actually is cool because it outlines the history as well of the exploration, and it talks about China, India, Israel, Russia, of course, Europe, like all these new players are wanting to set a permanent presence on the moon, and private space companies like SpaceX or Blue Origin. So it's really interesting reading that, and I get very hopeful. I would say I'm an optimist, And so I think that's one reason why I'm inclined to, despite all the terrible things going on, I prefer to read, you know, what do you call it? Visions of the future that's actually bright. The book I was actually gonna, the animal book, by the way, is by David Sedaris, called
wonderful.
Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk. Have you heard of it?
No, but I know he comes highly recommended. I like his humor a lot.
Yeah, it's very dark. And I mostly finished that one. The Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk is actually one story part of that entire book, and every single one is like really depressing for the most part. It's like, anyways, I'm not gonna go into it, but one thing I've noticed about myself is that I really like reading. How should I put it? I can read novels, but like I finish like shorter stuff more because I feel like it's like grabbing morsels. Like when I was reading Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk, there's what, like maybe 50 stories in there? And no, I did not sit there and read it linearly. Instead, I was like, oh, this one's about a squirrel. Let me read that. Oh, this other one's about a pig. I'm going to read that one. And then so I would just hop around. So.
Interesting. Tell me about your method of creation, like how you approach it, and tell me about your other mediums as well.
Okay, so I suppose those are two different questions. How I approach it, you mean what inspires me?
Like sort of. Maybe I should reword it. Your process of creation.
All right. Well, for me, it is quite random. As I was telling the audience and you, I get possessed. That still happens. So I could just be walking around, or even occasionally talking to someone, and I would just have a thought and feel like doing it. So now that's not to say that I don't force myself to write, because I do. It comes. What I've noticed is that with poetry, it's really hard for me to force myself to write. I feel like I have to be like possessed, and then I could write. But like with prose, that's much easier. Like I can write journal articles, I can like read up stuff, I can write short stories and stuff like that. That is much easier for me for like just sitting down and writing. And I tend to do that. I wish I could say I do it on a regular basis. It's kind of regular, but I can never predict when I would do it. Like I'm not someone who would like 9 o'clock, I gotta write. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
As far as other mediums go, I enjoy. I used to do photography more. I still like it. And, you know, for better or worse, the phone has replaced any kind of skills that I would, you know, otherwise have to obtain in my, you know, a number of years back when the phone's camera was terrible. Now it's just due to the convenience, and I suppose I'm hooked on social media to a degree. Another media thing I do is I do a space radio show, and that is I don't produce it or anything, but a friend of mine, she owns this media company called Actual Media. So I've been doing this space show for like over a year and a half now. So essentially I just go over there once a week and talk about space. Occasionally I interview someone for like an hour. So and speaking of poetry, I've actually read some space poetry or poetry related to space on my show.
Brilliant.
So
tell us when to listen in.
okay, so everything's online. So all the past shows, it's on YouTube. It's called SG2 on Space. Now, as far as the new shows go, we've changed the format so that now it's actually on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Previously, it was on Thursdays at 8 p.m. But starting in 2020, it is going to be at 1 p.m. on Saturday. That's live, okay? Everything, if you can't catch it live, it's going to be put online on YouTube.
Definitely. I remember watching, and it was actually a YouTube stream.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely, you're accredited to your tenacity.
It works.
Do you, besides photography, do you engage in any other types of visual art?
I do not at the moment. I wish I could say that. I doodle, but a lot of people do that. One thing I do like with words, I like visual poetry a lot. I like rearranging words and pictures.
Definitely. Have you read any of those concrete poems? Where
Yeah, I look for them.
Yeah, I tried my best years ago to. I mean, the piece was about a diamond, and I tried to make it in the shape of a diamond. And, I mean, needless to say, it was badly crafted, but I mean, the piece was alright.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty. That's good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy writing those kinds. So playing with like the latest book I wrote, I mean, in a sense, space between words, you can take it literally as the spacing between words.
Are there any subtle differences between your first two books?
Subtle? I don't know. I mean, my first book is stuff that I've written from way back, put together. I find my language to be fairly understandable, and that hence I named it Simple Words. So the second one was, I wouldn't say is the theme different? Well, I try to make the second one talk about more about space inside and outside. So I would say I felt like there's some maturity there, I suppose. For me to define it is very hard. I will let the reader decide.
Okay. Right on. Now, so I've heard through the grapevine that your current project is quite a unique approach. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
It's funny you say grapevine because I thought you're. Never mind.
Marvin Gaye.
There you go. So, there's no grapevine because I actively told you about it. But for the sake of other people listening, that's a funny way of putting it. Yeah. So this one's on a book of dreams. So yes, you probably heard. Okay, there's so many books on dreams. Is this another interpretive dream book? Well, no. I'm not trying to make it like that. It's not. I'm not the one who's gonna. I'm not qualified to do that. And so what I'm doing is actually more personal. I am interviewing different people, ideally face to face. In fact, all of mine has been face to face so far, and I would like to keep it that way. To get their most memorable dreams, whether it could be nightmares, it could sometimes be something totally crazy, like a prophetic dream, or I don't know, some really scary stuff, or it could just be like, oh, I had this dream when I was like 6 years old, and I was flying around, and I still remember it, and it was beautiful. So whatever it is. So what I do is I get the context of who you are, where you were, what kind of, where you were in life at that moment. Like when you're 6, say, like you obviously have a different mindset than when you're like 25. So it's good. So this book is gonna have this backdrop, right? So it's gonna have this backdrop of where you are and who you are in that particular time. Not into excruciating detail. I'm not gonna psychoanalyze you. And then the actual dream, and then how you felt afterwards, whether it affected you. So, and this book is going to be organized into themes. So it's not like one person's dreams is going to occupy like linearly all of it. So so say you have a dream about you exploring a new land, and then you have another dream where you like get killed. Okay, so one dream, okay, and exploring new lands one, that one you don't get killed, by the way. That's just happy. All right. So that would be in a different section of the book than you being hunted down by some entity and killed. All right. And then, but those would be grouped with other people's dreams which have similar themes. So I think that'd be interesting.
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's well received.
So for the audience here, if you would like your name. Yeah, actually, you know what? You could stay anonymous, but if you want something, if you want your stuff in the book, let me know. I'm still gathering more materials, so it's a work in progress.
Definitely.
So I need more people. Accounts.
So, before I close this out and ask you to share a couple pieces, please definitely give us your contact info so we could, I suppose, communicate with you more about the Dream Journal and just find out about your work in general.
Okay, that works. So, I have an Amazon page, so you can look up Shen Ge, Shen, last name Ge. On Facebook, I have facebook.com/Shenge Creative. I had that for a while, and a lot of my poetry is on there. Shenge Creative. So I also have a website, although that one is kind of a mishmash of everything I do. But you can check it out. It's shenge.us, shenge.us. And you can contact me, by Facebook, obviously, if you use that. If you don't, you can email me. So my email is my name, first and last name, Shenge86, so SHENGE 86 @gmail.com. So that'll probably be a good way to reach me as well.
What about the channel for your the archive displaying your archive of past radio shows?
That one I can never remember what the URL link is since it's so long.
I'll find it.
But
I'll find it and I'll post it.
On YouTube, you can search for SG2 on space, or you can go to facebook.com/The Shen Show. That's what it used to be called. That would have it. So.
Okay, definitely. Well, on that note, please indulge us with a few pieces by yourself.
Okay. All right. So. Alright, so this one actually really short. I wrote it when I was just hiking in the mountains over Christmas break, and I just saw some contrails in the sky. This is called Floating Contrails. White vestiges imprinted on blue, floating lines adrift in the sky. Man-made origins buffeted by merciless, swift, swirling nature, soon absorbed back into blue. Alright, so just a note, a lot of what I write is really short, so it's not
Nothing wrong with that. Length is subjective.
Alright, so here's another one. I like space, I like the sky. Alright, so this one I wrote about, I guess I'll read Europa. I really like it. So, let's just go ahead and then you guys can interpret. Silently tugged by invisible force, frozen plumes arise from unseen within. Shifting ice makes a whimpering thunder, reflected on layered, opaque white sheets. Tonight, I gaze upon iota of pinpoint light, whispering a face of blanched serenity. Tomorrow, I will peer into your wild heart, proclaiming a chaotic ocean of life.
Wow.
So, this could be describing a woman, or whatever. Somebody you're trying to date, and it frequently happens. It's like, who are you? Okay, are you that cold? Okay, ideally you're not. All right, since okay, this is going to a slight aside, but point is, people are harder to understand than you might think, and I say that about myself as well. So you can think of it like that. So yeah, a mystery indeed. And then the other interpretation, which is my original purpose, was on the actual moon, which probably harbors life and has an underwater ocean, but we can't see it because it's all covered up in ice. It's a moon that surrounds, orbits Jupiter. All right, so it's like one day we'll peer into you and know, ocean. So I suppose I could. I was trying to find one I wrote in Chinese. That might be interesting.
Oh yeah,
but.
definitely. And if you could, would you be able to read the original Chinese text and then the English translation?
There is no original. I mean, I'm kidding. There is no translation. Come on. Who do you think I am? You know, it's funny. At one point, I actually did not translate any like stuff I wrote in like
really?
a different language. I'm
that.
like, I don't. It's like you're supposed to know this language. Otherwise, but you know, that's the kind of, what do you call it? It doesn't defeat the purpose, but it definitely limits how many people you reached out to.
It's lost in translation.
You know what? I don't know if I can actually find it. I apparently did not post that on there. I thought I did.
Alright, we'll take what we can get.
I mean, let me see if I have it on Shinguk Creative. If this actually works. So, wow. Somehow, wow. Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
Oh, that's interesting. I was interviewed on KPFT, by the way, a little while ago.
Yes.
That was kind of interesting.
What were you promoting on there?
I was interviewed on my second book, actually.
Mm.
So, you know what? I really should put up my Chinese stuff on there. That's crazy. I haven't done that.
I think people would definitely be interested in that for sure.
Yeah. So I go to Imprint sometimes, and last time I went, it was not last time. The time before that was okay. You know what? This is you know, I have done translations.
Mm-hmm.
So but really, this is not.
Eeny,
Okay.
meeny, miny, mo.
Let me,
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Translations?
Or just whatever comes to mind.
Okay, this one's actually from one of my favorite. So there's okay. So one thing you asked me what other like medium or whatever, not medium but stuff. Like I also enjoy like translating. I have to admit, there's something about that. Just seeing different languages. So me, I know some Chinese, right? And there's a lot of Chinese poets which are not translated. Okay, so this one I actually really like. So this is a Chinese contemporary poet who killed himself and his wife. Okay, so tragic ending, but he was a great poet. And so it's called The Walk in the Rain. And it goes like this. It's really short, so. 云灰灰的，再也洗不干净。我们打开雨伞，索性涂黑了天空，在暖暖飘动的夜里，有两对双星，似乎没有定轨，只有时远时近。All right, so translated. This, by the way, is by a Chinese poet named Gu Chen, who lived from 1956 to 1993. All right. Gray ashen clouds can never be washed clean. We open our umbrellas to simply black out the sky. The slowly undulating night. There's a pair of twin stars with no apparent orbit, only to come and go. So, does it describe people? Gosh, who knows?
Who knows?
I love these simplicities that evokes, you know, seemingly or really deep meanings.
It's just living proof that not every single piece has to be flowering and flowing with rich imagery. I mean, sometimes these are just simple but
like,
complex at the same time.
I mean, I enjoy so I said before I like concrete poetry, visual poetry, also free verse, also like haikus.
Mm-hmm.
So like for instance, so I'm reading all like just really short ones. So here's this one I wrote a couple years back. It's called Fall.
This is a haiku?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cold sky, icy winds, carry yellow crinkled leaves, fall like human lives.
Like
So I'm just playing with words here. So,
yeah.
No, that's good.
Love it.
So.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, one thing that I would like to actually incorporate, so, understandably, we're doing a audio recording, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I haven't seen this done at events. Since another thing I like to do is go to open mics, read poetry and hear other people. I wish there was like some kind of projector set up, because like I like the visual element, so it would be really cool. So from my side, to be able to project a poem, because I've written poems which are like weirdly shaped, like you talked about writing a diamond poem. Like, how are you supposed, like, you can read it, but the appeal is a visual aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice if we, if you have both an audio component and like a visual projector component with that.
If you can send me a picture of one of these pieces, or a screenshot or whatever, I can post it along with the audio, like in the video, while I'm preparing the video, rather.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be great. So, but that was just some thought I had, actually.
Certainly.
So.
So before we close this out, do you have any tips for aspiring creators in any medium?
I would say, for a while, actually, really, I kind of, what's the word? I didn't stop writing, but I stopped writing like poetry. So, and I was thinking about why I did that. Like it like, if I compare to the time when I wrote, say, poetry, when I didn't, when I did write it, I definitely felt a lot more fulfilled. And I think the reason I stopped is because other things in life became more important, or quote unquote, or I just was like, I'm not inspired, or whatever it happens to be. But I think if you do something, and you would know this, like at least I think most people would, you would know whether you find it fulfilling or draining or like neutral, right? I mean, most activities I feel like are pretty obvious. So, and if you find something fulfilling, like for me, say it's writing, then keep doing it. Because if you stop, like, I don't know, I feel like you lose that part of yourself. And if you stop for too long, I don't think you ever lose it completely, but it's, there's a sparkle in life that's gone. That's what I think.
I like that,
so,
sparkle.
There is. I mean, yeah, and I'm not saying like life situations doesn't, it may detract you, but remember that's always there. So, and also, I've also heard this, like some people tell me, oh, I'm just not creative. I can't, like that just seems like a common thing. Maybe not among like the writers or artists I already associate myself with, but like in the general world, so to speak, that's what I come across. And the thought I have with that is, that's just not true. I mean, like, creativity and ability to do something, I feel like it's within everyone. I feel like you're just too scared, like, yeah, or you're comparing yourself. That actually frequently happens. I think these people are comparing themselves. They're like, I'm at this art show, or I'm at this, I don't know, this open mic thing, and these people are also amazing. My stuff is crap, so yeah, no, I'm just can't do it.
I've noticed over the years, envy is a life killer.
Yeah.
It really takes away from the bigger picture. That's why better, greater, those are opinion words for me. I believe in difference. That's all.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
all have different
Right.
styles. You'll never write like me. I'll never write like you. You'll never sing like me. I'll never sing like you, and so on and so forth.
Oh, don't ask me to sing. That's just like a terrible idea. But yeah. I mean, like, I think everyone has a certain skill set they're good at, and if you're not, like, let's just say you, like, for instance, me right now, I really like going to art shows and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, I want to create that, and I could teach myself, or I could take a class, So if you want to do something creative, don't, like, don't just say I can't do it, or just like relegate it as something to do like 50 years from now because you don't have time. I think you should take some time and just try it.
Definitely.
Explore your potential.
And creativity doesn't has to necessarily be I suppose involved with the arts in general. Creativity comes in many forms. People who create theories, complex equations, it's still creativity.
That is also true. But
I'll never understand it, but I support it.
I assumed your show was actually about the more like writing and arts and music and all that.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, from my scientific part of my brain, yeah, creativity is like encompasses everything. That's true.
You're living proof that there's no such thing as a left or right brain. You have. I mean, it seems like you've mastered both skills. You have a balance on those sides.
I don't think I'm gonna ever use the word mastered. There's a progress. There's never that perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's progressing all the time. So, yeah. I mean, from the science side, I feel like for me it goes both ways. So what I'm saying is like, case in point, the stuff I write, a lot of them, I like the science part. I throw them in there, like that poem about Europa. I just like to throw things in there, and vice versa as well. Like, I think writing has helped me a lot in terms of being able to communicate as well in the scientific aspect, let's just say, and overall just coming up with new ideas. I mean, I think you need both parts of your brain for that. So.
Of course. Yeah. Well, you heard it from the one and only Shenga. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today about your work and about the arts in general and your thoughts on creativity. Any final words?
I mean, feel free to reach out to me. So I would love to give my phone number, but I have no idea what kind of people listen to the show, I would not. But once again, let me just give you.
It's the internet. I wouldn't do it if I.
Oh yeah. Although some people do it.
Yeah.
It's you can email me shenga86@gmail.com, SHENG86@gmail.com. Once again, I'm going to reiterate that I am really looking for people for my next project, so that'd be great. Also, I did not mention this, but I would really like to put some art because I am not good at drawing or that. So I would like the next book to actually have some illustrations. So I was thinking it'd be really cool if some of these dreams, maybe not every single one, but maybe some of them could be illustrated. That'd be amazing.
That would be.
And
yeah.
that would be very compelling.
Yeah, it would definitely give us more of that visual side to it.
Yeah, that David Sedaris animal book, right? I guess another reason it appealed to me was the animal drawings in there. I mean, okay, sure. I'm not saying I'm the guy who only reads picture books, but I do.
Pop-ups too.
Yeah, I read pop-ups as well. Yeah. I gotta say, I never got past that. Like no. I mean, let me for your listeners. Let me rephrase that. I like visual images, so I like books with pictures. But I'm perfectly fine reading books without pictures.
Yeah.
But for certain books, I think adding pictures adds an element to it. So
certainly.
yeah, for sure.
Certainly.
So yeah, if you're an artist or if you have or you have interesting dreams and you want to put some of that in the book, let me know. So that would be cool. And you can follow me, facebook.com/Shinga Creative.
Splendid. Thank you very much, Shen.
Thank you, Zach. It has been a pleasure.
Definitely. This is ZMY's Poetry Lives. Long live the arts. Over and out.